All right, exam aspirants, listen up. Today, we are digging into something absolutely critical. How big is India's digital economy? Really? We're going to break down a major report from ICRII, and trust me, you'll want to pay close attention. This is a super important topic, and it's packed with facts you're definitely going to need. We feel it every single day, but the sheer scale of India's digital life is just staggering. Let's start with a foundational number, 1.14 billion. That's the number of mobile subscriptions we have. It makes us the second largest mobile market on the entire planet, right behind China. This is the bedrock, the foundation of everything we're about to discuss. And what are all those mobile users doing? Well, they're transacting digitally at a scale the world has literally never seen before. Get this, in the last financial year, India processed over 1,644 billion digital transactions. That's not just a big number, it makes us the undisputed global leader in this space. No contest. Okay, so with billions of users and trillions of transactions, we get to the big question, one that pops up on exams all the time. How much is our digital economy actually worth? You see, measuring this isn't so simple because digital isn't just one industry. It's woven into the fabric of everything. So let's unpack how the experts are solving this puzzle. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the challenge of measuring it. Then we'll get into the actual size of the digital economy, its huge impact on jobs and productivity, and the policy path forward. And you'll want to stick around to the end because we've got a summary slide with everything you need for a quick revision. So let's jump into our first big topic. How in the world do you measure something this huge? The main problem is that digital isn't a single thing like steel or agriculture. It cuts across everything, from the fintech apps on your phone to the e-commerce sites you shop on. Our old-school ways of calculating national income just weren't built for this. To get around this, economists use two main frameworks, and for your exams, you need to know the difference. There's the older Asian Development Bank, or ADB approach. It's pretty narrow, mostly looking at the traditional IT sector. But the gold standard, and the one this report uses, is the OECD approach. It's way broader. It captures everything from e-commerce platforms to gig workers, giving us the real story. Now, here's a key term you absolutely must know: digitally enabling industries, or DEI. Think of this as the foundation, the traditional ICT sector like telecoms, IT services, and electronics manufacturing. Remember this term because it's the single biggest piece of the digital economy pie. So, using that comprehensive OECD framework, what's the actual size of India's digital economy? Let's get to the headline numbers. This is it. The one number you absolutely have to remember. For 2022-23, the digital economy made up 11.74% of India's gross value added, or GVA. And GVA is just a great way to measure the economy. So to put it simply, more than a tenth of our entire economic output is now digital. That's huge. So what does that 11.74% actually look like in real money? It translates to a massive 28.94 quadrillion rupees. To put that in perspective, that's about 368 billion US dollars, an absolutely enormous figure. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this breakdown. That core DEI sector we just talked about, that makes up the majority at 67%. But check this out. New digital businesses and the digitalization of traditional sectors like banking and retail now make up a full 1/3 of the total value. It just goes to show you, digital is spreading everywhere. This table gives you a more detailed view, which is perfect for your notes. You can see DEI, that core infrastructure, makes up the lion's share at 7.83%. But look at the other numbers. Digital platforms are already over 1%, and traditional sectors like finance add almost another 2%. These smaller numbers are actually where the explosive growth is happening. It shows how digitalization is getting into every single corner of our economy. Okay, so we know the digital economy is huge in terms of value, but what does that mean for jobs and for the future? Let's take a look at the employment picture. So in 2022-23, the digital economy employed about 14.67 million workers. Now, that might sound like a lot, but it's only about 2.55% of India's total workforce. And that small percentage leads to a really, really powerful insight. So here is the crucial point. The digital economy employs just 2.55% of the workforce, but it produces 11.74% of our national GVA. What does that mean? It means a worker in the digital economy is, on average,
5 times more productive than a worker in the rest of the economy. That is an absolutely game-changing statistic.
And this incredible growth, it's only going to speed up. Projections show the digital economy is growing almost twice as fast as the overall economy. By 2030, it's expected to make up nearly 1/5 of our entire national income. Think about that. In less than 6 years, the digital economy could be bigger than agriculture or manufacturing in India. Now, to keep this amazing momentum going and hit that 20% target, the report lays out 5 key policy areas that the government really needs to focus on.
And for your exam, we've got a super simple mnemonic to help you remember all of them. Just think of the word IRACE. It's easy to recall and it covers all the key pillars.
So, what does IRACE stand for? Well, I is for infrastructure. We're talking universal, high-speed broadband for everybody. R is for regulatory certainty, creating clear, stable rules for digital platforms. A is for awareness and skilling, making sure everyone has the digital literacy to take part. C is for cybersecurity and trust, making the digital world safer for everyone. And finally, E is for improving the ease of doing business, especially for digital-first companies. Okay, we've reached the most important part for your preparation. Let's put all the key facts and figures you need to know into one simple, high-yield summary. All right, this slide right here is your ultimate revision cheat sheet. Let's run through it fast. First, the size, 11.74% of GVA. The framework, the broad OECD approach. The biggest piece, DEI. Employment, 14.67 million workers. The killer insight, 5 times more productive. Future growth, gonna hit nearly 20% of GVA by 2030. And the policy key, the IRACE mnemonic. Go ahead and screenshot this slide. This is the core info you need. And we'll leave you with one final, crucial question to think about. As India's digital economy grows to become larger than even agriculture or manufacturing, what does this incredible shift mean for the future of work in our country? And maybe more importantly, what new skills will you and millions of others need to thrive in this new India? That's really the challenge for the next decade.